line out, bag it up.
Hi everyone, I'm Ken Verderami, and welcome to another edition of the Ultimate Steel Shooter, where we talk about all things and only things Steel Challenge. Okay everybody, welcome back to the podcast. If you are new, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And if you are new, check out our YouTube channel where we post previous episodes from years past of our audio-only podcast, where you can catch up on a lot of the content, or you can go to places like Spotify that you're listening to now, or Apple Podcast if you like to consume content that way, and check up on old episodes as well. We've got over 5 years of content that you can go and check out. Also, if you are interested in our dry fire training system for Steel Challenge, head on over to our website at steelshootbanners.com. You can see all 8 stages there in banner form for dry fire training, as well as if you're a USPSA shooter. We have over 40 different USPSA drills and 15 official classifier stages in banner form that you can use, that you can get to do training on as well. Of course, don't forget my books. My original book, Do You Feel the Need for Speed? The latest second edition, which is Do You Still Feel the Need for Speed, with 40 additional pages, new chapters, updated chapters, and some new drills. And my mental management book, Mastering the Game Within the Game, Mastering the Steel Challenge Mental Game. And of course, all these books are available at Amazon Books. And maybe I didn't mention this, but our YouTube channel is called The Ultimate Steel Shooter, if you want to check out that and get this content that way. All right. As promised, I am going to talk about something that I not had ever put in any of my books, and I saved it for those people who were paying for one-on-one training with me, and I would usually we would chat about this as well. But since I'm not really doing that anymore, I thought it was time to let this out and try to help people. So some of you may have heard this before. Some of you may know all about it. That's great. If you're already incorporating it, good for you. You've probably seen the results because they are phenomenal when applied correctly. And the technique is something called the quiet eye. And it's used in a lot of different forms in different athletic pursuits. Obviously, we're talking about shooting here, and where I learned it is from Todd Bender, who is considered by most to be the world's greatest competition skeet shooter. He's won so many world championships, I think 30 or 40. I mean, it's you can go to his website. I mean, his list of accomplishments and championships is pages, literally pages long. But anyway, this is where I learned it from, and we apply it to Steel Challenge. Not designed necessarily for that, but it certainly works. And the idea here is, how can you develop the fastest possible first shot to a target and or draw to a target? Okay, obviously there are mechanics involved, technical mechanics that you need to learn about drawing the gun, moving it, all that kinds of stuff. That's not what this is about. You can find all that in my book and other books as well about the specifics of learning technique. This technique is kind of a mental process thing that you're going to use to be able to recognize and shorten the amount of time between when the timer goes off and you move towards that first target, and you hit that first target every single time, 100% of the time, no matter how hard, easy, where it is, doesn't make any difference, okay? And so, what is quiet eye? So, I'll tell you what researchers call it. So researchers define this thing called the quiet eye as the gaze behavior right before movement, particularly when an activity requires aim. Okay? that sounds like getting ready to shoot, right? Okay, so it's definitely something that people in archery, shotgun sports, and rifle, long-range rifle, and certainly our sport, it applies as well. Okay, now, so one thing you need to understand is that the duration of time that you can spend in this thing we call quiet eye actually is what distinguishes many elite performers from their competitors. Okay, as well, a lot of research on eye tracking and eye movement has found that when you have focused attention on what actually matters, that is the key to blurring out all this unnecessary detail, this noise around you, and concentrating on the one thing that matters, which in this case, of course, is that first shot. Now, I get it that very few of us out there are elite, world-class athletes, but it doesn't matter. It applies to no matter what your skill level is. It will help you improve and get better from wherever you are, okay? One thing probably everybody has noticed is that if you do the same activity over and over again, right? Repetitions, we call them, you seem to develop more focus, and you don't really look for those external cues anymore, right? That's that your subconscious has taken over, and you no longer need to use conscious thought to do that. Okay, that's what quiet eye is all about. It's a subconsciously trained activity to keep in focus. Now, here's some of the mechanics behind it. Right, when you see rapid eye movement, right, between points, in biology that's called saccades. Okay, when your eyes track slowly from one point to another, the eye movement is called smooth pursuit. And the interesting thing is that the saccades is typical when you have some level of anxiety, right? When you're feeling pressure at something maybe that's new or unfamiliar, or just in our sport, you pressure develops because you want to do well. Okay, and so what you want to do, of course, is to limit the rapid eye movement and learn how to do this slow tracking from one point to another. Okay, and of course, it should be obvious that if you are able to develop what I'll call like a composed scan of a situation or a point in space, right? It makes sense that you're able to absorb much more detail as well, and that's important when we aim and we're in a sport like Steel Challenge. Okay, gaze also happens to affect balance, but that's not that big a deal for us in shooting as it can be in other sports. Okay. All right, so how do you do quiet eye? Or how do you teach yourself quiet eye? The basic technique is relatively simple, but it takes a lot of practice, and you'll see that as you start that. Okay, basically what you want to do is you just simply start out, go to a wall, a blank wall. You don't have to be, just a couple of feet away from it. And put a little black dot on a piece of paper and hang it on the wall. Okay? And then all you're going to do is you're going to eliminate all distractions, stand erect like you would if you're getting, if you were going to be shooting. Okay, don't do this sitting down or in another odd position, but do it standing. And simply, literally, stare at that little tiny dot for as long as you can without your gaze shifting even 1 millimeter off that dot, without your mind drifting to any other conscious thoughts. Focus on just literally staring at that dot. Okay? And what you will discover likely is that it's really, really hard, that in probably less than a few seconds, you'll catch yourself moving off that dot, or you'll get a stray thought in your mind or something. And that's all those distractions. And so what you want to do is, over time, just practice trying to prolong the amount of time that you can stare at this little tiny spot with nothing changing, nothing moving, and literally your eye never wanders, never moves, even for a split second off that black dot. Okay? And you will discover, like I said, how hard it is to concentrate your focus. But that's what quiet eye is. It's the ability to be able to do that for long periods of time, remove all thoughts, extraneous, everything out of your mind, and just stare at that spot, right? We call, you've heard call that, in the zone, right? That athlete is, in the zone, okay? Well, that is what quiet eye is really all about. It's being able to get in the zone just before you're going to get ready to shoot. Now, another thing you can do is you can go into a place, any particular room, it doesn't matter, but there's lots of things, and go to the opposite end of the room from where a doorway is, and where there's lots of things around there, and then stare at that area and try to identify as much minute detail of that doorway as you can. I mean, little tiny things, right? A nail, a paint chip, a mark on the wall, anything, every little tiny detail. And over time, as your concentration develops and your quiet eye develops, you should be able to see more and more detail that you had never seen in previous sessions, okay? Typically what research has found is that if you can get to the 15-second point doing the quiet eye technique with perfect focus, that is where you get into this subconscious realm where now you're 100% focused on the singular task you have to do. All distractions are eliminated, and in our case, when the timer goes off, you react subconsciously. Your body reacts literally as fast as it's physically capable of reacting, and you're able to take that first shot. Okay, so you want to be able to get to the point where you're doing this state for at least 15 seconds, and closer to 30 seconds would actually even be better. But somewhere in the 15 to 30 seconds is where you want to be. Okay? All right, so believe it or not, that's the technique in a nutshell. Like I said, it's deceptively simple as to what you need to do, but you'll discover it's incredibly hard to develop this total and complete focus with blocking out everything else, and you're just focused on that tiny little speck on the wall and with no other thoughts entering your mind at all, right? Try to go 30 seconds and not focus or think about anything else. You'll find it extraordinarily difficult. This is similar to, excuse me, learning how to do shot calling. I've talked about this many times. The technique for learning shot calling is very simple. It's one drill. I put it in my book. It's also, I've talked about a podcast before, but it takes months and months to develop shot calling skills to the level you need to, even though it's deceptively simple, the process for what you have to do. This is the same with quiet eye. All right, give that a try and see if that doesn't start to help improve it. If you have any questions about that or anything else, you can obviously always send them to me. Send me an email at steelshootbanners@outlook.com, and I'll be happy to answer it, and then we can discuss it on a future podcast as well. All right, and with that, remember, as always, slowing down is never the right answer. Never. You need to learn to see faster.